Grab your favorite cup. We're about to pour you a glass of the most wholesome drink.
Our goal is to amplify marginalized voices through subjects that matter.
We will do this by discussing subjects that are uplifting, gainful, and truthful, no matter how uncomfortable they may be, in hope of gaining clarity and invoking progressive change.
Of course, we'll sprinkle on some off-color topics to make our discussions more palpable.
Welcome to Urban Proper.
Hello!
Oh my god, we're back again.
You guys still love us, right?
Of course they do.
Well, it is I, the cuddler, aka self-proclaimed queen of everything. Shisha the third.
I don't know why that stopped me in my tracks. Completely wrecked me. It is I, Darius. I don't like the Destroyer. I gotta come up with a name for myself. I don't know who I am anymore, y'all.
You don't know who are you having an identity crisis?
I am having a podcast identity crisis.
Oh,
I need to speak to the manager.
You are the manager.
Gosh, daggone I'm Darius the Destroyer of all things, and welcome back to Urban Proper.
Welcome back to Urban Proper. We are now in week 6, episode 6. Ow. How was you guys' Juneteenth? How was that for you guys?
My Juneteenth was great. We were here recording, so
yeah. I like looking on social media and seeing everyone's discovery of Juneteenth, because that's not something that's taught in our American school systems for some reason.
Yep.
So a lot of people were like, and I just love the conversation that was had. It wasn't like, oh my God, you don't know what Juneteenth is, shame on you. It was educating.
Yeah, if you don't, and you know what I really liked about it was a lot of my white friends were like, oh, you don't know what Juneteenth is, and you white. Get it together.
Get it together.
I was like, look at y'all. Look at my white friends. But I was proud of them. I'm proud of y'all white friends.
I was proud of everybody. Everybody wasn't that whole pointing fingers and turning up the noses about not being aware of Juneteenth.
Right. Everybody was ready to educate.
Yeah.
So we are back for another episode. What are we talking about today? What are we talking about today, Chief?
We're talking about a lot of things. First of all, the title of this episode is The Presence of Our Creativity.
Yes, and it took us a long time to come up with that title.
It did. I don't know why we were having like writer's block and just like creativity block.
Yeah, like it was
going through it because the last 5 episodes we were just like, this is the name, bam. And it was like, fresh out ideas.
I think we're done with the podcast. We're out of ideas now. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
And a cute little doggy bag to go.
Oh my goodness. But we're talking about appropriation, cultural appropriation versus appreciation.
Yes.
And we're also talking about black art.
Yes. We're going to be talking about the Harlem Renaissance. We're going to be talking about artists who came about from that, what it all means. We're going to be talking about African music and how it still influences us to this day. We're also going to get a little bit into country music. We're going to talk about fine art. We're going to talk about theater. We're going to just break down black creativity.
We're just going to talk like we normally talk.
Yes. And if we don't even talk about the topic, we'll get back to it
eventually.
in a later episode. But I do want to point out that our just to kind of lead us into the conversation and start off with something on the educational side.
Okay.
Our title this week was inspired by a quote by one of the most famous black Harlem Renaissance writers, Zora Neale Hurston, and she said, "Sometimes I feel discriminated against. But it doesn't make me angry. It merely astonishes me. How can anyone deny themselves the pleasure of my company? Presence of my creativity." Yes, ASMR snaps. Yes. So I just feel that in my soul. How could anybody not want black people around? Like,
that's one thing that I could never wrap my head around. Black people are the beginning of everything. Black people from all over the Black diaspora, we are just innovators. We are amazing people. We make something out of nothing.
Yes.
Shit, they was feeding us pig entrails and scraps, and motherfuckers still be eating Snoop and pig feet and chitlins.
I don't get down with chitterlings.
Me
I don't get down with pigger feet. But bitch, I fucks tough with some Snoop every now and then.
I don't fucks with any of it.
I don't really eat pork unless it's bacon, but
I fuck with the bacon. I can't let bacon go. I have let go of the pork chops.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have let go. Well, I don't eat ham. I don't say completely let go. I just don't put it into my diet. It's not on my grocery shopping list.
Yeah, like on Thanksgiving, like I gotta have me a little bit of honey ham. Like I gotta have that ham glazed over with that honey, a little bit of pineapple on there. Oh, but that shit hit different.
But no, I don't do those. I don't do the cow tongue.
I haven't tried it yet.
I tried neck bones one time.
Oh, I love neck bones.
Neck bones was good.
Oh, neck bones and mashed potatoes, girl. Ooh,
and what
potatoes? Y'all can't see me, but I'm shouting.
This nigga caught the Holocaust.
My grandma used to make all the time neck bones and mashed potatoes. And
potatoes.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's just like a regular potato. I don't know the difference.
You gotta research this.
But yeah, my grandma used to say all the time she was making neck bones and mashed potatoes, and my mouth is literally drooling just thinking about it because that shit used to
hot water cornbread.
You trying to really make me catch the Holy Ghost up in here?
Jesus.
Listen, I ain't even religious, but the spirit that got into me. Stop talking about food, baby.
But yeah, to bring it back, black people we making way out of no way.
We truly do. We truly are innovators when it comes to everything.
We're innovators, but yet somehow there's a lot of holes missing from the history books. Several. Like once or hellas.
Black people were here once
or hellas.
We don't really know.
Yes. Like,
and I really think it's funny that things like Juneteenth are left out of the history books because you talk about American history. Literally is a part of American history. Like it's about the Emancipation Proclamation and signing and freedom. Like
yeah, I can't remember. I think it was a white guy, but it was reposted on Facebook, and somebody posed a question to him: "Do you like reading fiction?" And he said, "Yes, American history." And I lost my shit.
That is, yes.
Especially nowadays, they're trying to make the history books recount the events of white settlers' interactions with the Native Americans, the First Nation people. As they gave up their land freely, as there was no conflict.
That shit fucks me up every time.
Like, you literally obliterated the First Nation people.
First of all, y'all motherfuckers brought pestilence with you. Like, straight off the boat. Smallpox, syphilis, none of that shit was here before.
And while we go on our mini rant, Christopher Columbus, your bitch ass. You ain't
discovered shit.
You was lost, nigga. You was lost.
Your ass was trying to go. He didn't even land in America. He landed in Cuba.
Yes. With the Taino Indians.
Yes.
And you wiped the motherfuckers out. With your Caucasian penises and diseases.
Caucasian penis disease.
Now, I'm not saying that all Caucasian men have penis diseases, but y'all had some penis diseases.
But listen, back then, they wasn't taking care of nothing.
Yes. Penis diseases. Okay? Fuck wrong with y'all. Fuck wrong with y'all. How you discover something that people was already living? How you discover somewhere There's already some motherfuckers there.
Like, hey, I found this thing, but there's people there. I found this thing.
I have discovered this place. These islands. Yes.
They seem to be heavily populated.
But I discovered it.
But I found it first.
But I discovered it.
This is mine. See, like I said, we weren't even gonna talk about this topic.
But I mean, I feel like you can't really go into, talking about appropriation and blackness without highlighting the omission of a lot of things.
The omission of black people from history.
Period. Like you don't hear about. And after this, we're gonna kind of get away from our rant. We're just going on a little rant right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We just like we hear so much about Greek mythology and Roman mythology and Greek emperors. Roman emperors and Greek kings and city states. All we learned about in school was Egypt. And I mean, that is a part of Africa. But what about the Malian Empire? There were several empires that spanned...
So many.
Yes, the Zulu Empire.
Africa is a giant continent.
Yes.
In the shape of a rhino.
Oh, yeah. Africa is not a fucking country. It's a continent.
It's a continent.
You whores.
South Africa is a country.
There you go.
It's not like Australia, which kind of doubles as a country and a continent. It's definitely a continent.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the 7,
Yeah.
The biggest of the 7, just saying. Or is Asia bigger?
That's up for debate. I think I need to check my sources, but from last time I checked, everything can fit into Africa.
Love that. But I was actually gonna say something about leaving out like African culture, African quote mythology.
Yeah, that too.
Because while we did learn about Egypt, we didn't really learn much about Egypt. Like, I don't remember learning that much about Egypt in school. I remember learning that it was a thing. We
learned more about the Ptolemaic period.
Who is she? Never met her.
That is the period of Egypt after Alexander the Great invaded Egypt. So basically the white part of Egyptian history.
Do you motherfuckers whitewashed Egypt? I know Alexander the Great did. I knew about that. Yeah. I'm talking about the school you went to. Whitewashed Egypt?
I mean, that's the only part we learned about. It's the Ptolemaic period. The Cleopatra. And then, like, really thinking about it, Cleopatra was... it's up for debate. Either she was just purely Greek or she was Greek and Egyptian. But she, in the sense
Greco-Egyptian.
Huh?
She was Greco-Egyptian.
Yeah.
Instead of Greco-Roman. Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know if she got that claim because she was a Greek born in Egypt or if she was actually of mixed culture. That's something we don't know.
I did not know that at all.
Yeah. So.
That's interesting. I was about to say something and I completely forgot what it was.
Oh, got to the head. Bam. There's been a lot of that today.
So much. Y'all don't even understand the whole beginning of everything.
Oh my goodness. This is what toxic work environments do to your brain, folks.
Listen, I didn't even work today and I'm already feeling the vibrations of my toxic work environment. Shit, I really genuinely forgot what I was about to say. But still, while we're on the topic of things that have been omitted from American history and American culture, the Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah.
We didn't learn about the Harlem Renaissance in school.
You didn't?
Not particularly. It was like during Black History Month.
Yeah.
We learned about the same old shit. We talked about Martin Luther King, which is like, I'm in high school. I know Martin Luther King's story through and through.
Yeah.
And that ain't no shade to MLK. Like, he did a lot for us. And I'm honored to have had him, fight for my rights.
But there's more to Black history than MLK.
But there were so many people fighting alongside him. There were so many people before him fighting. So many people after him who are still fighting.
There were so many people on the other side, like Malcolm X fighting.
So we didn't really Like, I didn't really learn about Zora Neale Hurston until my adult years, or until after high school. Actually, I learned about Zora Neale Hurston before high school, but that was because, and this just kind of comes back to the whole topic of this, the influence of black art on all art. There's a movie that I can't remember the name of for the life of me right now with, I want to say it's like Wesley Snipes and Sanaa Lathan.
Oh, I know what movie you're talking about.
It's not Disappearing Act. Is it Disappearing Act?
It's Disappearing Act.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
Yes.
But her name was Zora, and she was named after Zora Neale
Yeah.
Hurston. Like, I was like, oh shit, wow, okay, let me look up this person that I've never fucking heard of before. So,
and I think that happens a lot with our history and learning about things. We're just like, oh, I've never heard about this. Let me educate myself. And I think that's kind of the problem with race relations in America. It's because there's not that understanding. There's not that overall universal knowledge.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, let's just sweep this under the rug, or let's pour some bleach on this history, whiten it up a little bit. Yeah. And
it's that whole idea of, I feel like white America is ashamed, but not ashamed enough to be like, to own up to it.
Yeah, like Australia did.
Yeah, ashamed in the opposite direction where they're like, listen, we know this is a bad thing and we're sorry. Let's not talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I know you gave me syphilis. It was cured. Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah.
And that's real frustrating because I hate learning about my culture from the internet and knowing that my nieces won't learn about it in school.
And that's why we have to, I think, as a people and as a culture, African Americans, we have to make sure that we are teaching our children and future, not even, if you don't even have children, just future generations, this information.
Yep.
It's important to have representation, so you know where you come from, and you know that you come from greatness, and you know that you come from artists and pharaohs and emperors and conquerors, and just like Hannibal. Going back to Roman culture and Greek culture, he was an African warlord that damn near obliterated. I believe it was the Romans.
Shit. I have heard of this. Yes.
And that's something that we weren't taught about
at all.
Yeah.
They were like, white people can't be defeated.
No.
Calm down. Rome was the greatest empire ever.
No.
Fuck out of here.
No.
Go ahead.
There are a bunch of copycats anyway.
Listen, stealing all of our culture. But on the topic of coming from creatives and artists and pharaohs, let's dive a little bit into the Harlem Renaissance and let's talk about some of that shit that we did learn about the creatives and artists of the 1920s.
Let's jump on in. I'll let you take the reins on this, Mr. Artist.
All right. So, as we all know, Darius is a thespian. Not a lesbian, definitely a thespian.
You just took me the fuck out.
I have to tell you the backstory of that phrase when we're not on the podcast. But, so the Harlem Renaissance, like I said, was in the 1920s. It all took place in Harlem, New York City, and there was just this post-Civil War society where black people were finally being allowed to live, kind of, a little bit.
Yeah.
And decided that art was the way to make their stamp on the world in that time. It's just kind of how, through the gaze of an artist, that's how I see the Harlem Renaissance. And so the catalyst for it was a play, or 3 plays actually, written by, what is his name? Ridgely Torrance, who was a white man. I couldn't read the typing on the computer screen. I don't know.
Check your eyes.
Listen, Ridgely Torrance, a white man who wrote 3 plays called 3 Plays for Negro Theater. in 1917, and it was the first time that African American people were allowed to play complex human characters, and it was the first like denouncement of the minstrel show of blackface. You know what black people typically were portrayed as. You know, white people with their faces literally painted black with like big lips painted over and like the whole. And then the minstrel show where the black person is just really being over the top and kind of like what has become. I compare minstrel shows. Kind of. I compare minstrel shows to black men in wigs, dressing up and acting like
holy shit,
the caricature of what black women are. While I find some of it very funny, it also is like
very damning.
Very damning. It makes black women look not so great, and that's what a minstrel show kind of for me was. Not that I've ever been to a minstrel show. Thankfully, that whole concept and idea has died. But they're also the Harlem Renaissance was just like a total rehaul of the black community. It was a change in fashion. People went from wearing like tuxes and suits to wearing kind of what we would call modern day streetwear, like their streetwear, which is like stockings and skirts and like jeans and like shit like that.
Yeah.
And then we have some of the most prolific artists, painters, writers, singers, musicians. All of these people who came out of Harlem, New York. We had like Zora Neale Hurston, like I said, Langston Hughes, who was one of my favorite playwrights of all time. Dizzy Gillespie, who was one of the most prolific trumpeteers. Trumpeteers? Is that what you would call a person that plays the trumpet?
I mean, that's what I would call a person that play a trumpet.
Trumpeteers, here they are from now on. James Weldon Johnson, Claude McKay, who is another kind of catalyst for the Harlem Renaissance. He wrote a sonnet back in 1919 about the political climate for black people. And so many people that came out of the Harlem Renaissance. And I think that moment in history is when black people were like, hey, you stole us from where we were, but we brought all of that with us. Yeah. And so like the African drums, the chanting, the spiritualism, all of that got transformed into art, and I think that is just the most beautiful thing.
Yeah, and like you can hear it in the music as well. Very much so, like the calling and response of the music, and like going back to education just a little bit, with learning about the Harlem Renaissance. My Black History class was actually taught by a white woman. I just had to throw that shade in there.
Wait. You had a Black History class?
Yeah, I had a Black History class in high school. It was an elective, and it was taught by a white teacher. And there was a black teacher there that could have taught this class, but anyway, you stuck. Carry on. Yes. But yeah, the Harlem Renaissance was just the mecca of black expression. And black people really started to come into their own. People that, fled up north. It was a very different culture than in the South. Even though they were put in this box, they were free, but they were still put within limitations. Yeah. But I feel like that's the purest form of black art.
I would agree.
Like, it's black art. Like, I mean, of course you have the African influences, but you don't have any. It's just pure blackness. I don't know how to really break it down, but like that. Yeah. Like that part. Like, that's what it is. It's like blue magic of the art. That pure. Yeah. It's that good. That's, you take a hit of it and you stuck it. This that clean. Back that lean to the side and shit good.
This that depth. That's how I feel about it. As an artist, as a creative person, I draw so much influence from the Harlem Renaissance. Specifically the music and the poetry. Because
poetry was so prolific at that time.
As a singer and a songwriter, and literally a poet, and so much of like the way that I phrase and the way that I think about writing draws from poets like Langston Hughes. And it just is in jazz music.
Yes.
But
Can we bring that back? Jazz music.
Instrumental jazz. I don't even need words.
Yes.
Like I love music with words.
Like, can we bring that back to mainstream, like jazz music? Can we do that?
Can we bring ragtime back too?
Ragtime?
I fucks with ragtime tough. I ain't even gonna lie.
Bitch, get your...
Well, you know, one of the like greatest ragtime musicians of all time, Scott Joplin, is from St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's in our blood.
That's in your blood. I'm not.
Oh right, you're not from here.
Sorry.
Sorry, you ain't from here.
Nah.
You say pop.
Yes, I do.
Ew.
Whatever.
Ew.
So dumb. Sounds so dumb.
But yeah, so the Harlem Renaissance really gave way to black people being allowed to create and allowed to do things like invent music.
Yeah, that's a good segue. We damn near invented every form of music that is popular today.
All of it.
Like, damn near.
Ragtime is like the basis of American music.
Yeah. Also country music.
Yep. We was there
first.
Yeah.
And rock and roll.
We was there too.
Let me
go ahead,
get a little closer to the mic. I'm just going to repeat that. Country music and rock and roll were created by black people.
Rock and roll, specifically a black woman.
A black woman.
Can you talk about this black woman for a little bit? I feel like you should let us in on a little secret.
So learn something new today while doing some research for this episode. Sister Rosetta Tharpe invented rock and roll. She was around 20 years before Elvis, the quote-unquote king of rock and roll, quote-unquote king cultural appropriator, quote-unquote quote-unquote song thief. 20 years before him, actually 10 years before Chuck Berry. How she was overlooked, I don't know. But I'm telling you guys,
she's inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, yeah?
And I still didn't know about her. Like, what the fuck is wrong with our history system? Like, why? Why didn't I know about Sister Rosetta Tharpe? I'm sorry, Tharpe. But yeah, she was the first. She actually started doing Christian music.
Okay.
And when I was looking up, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, I was mesmerized by her playing the guitar.
It was honestly,
it was an experience.
Fucking sick.
It was a spiritual experience.
Like
in that time, during that era, I don't think I've ever seen a woman play a guitar, because I think a guitar is for some reason such a masculine thing to do.
It is, but women play the guitar so much better than men.
Oh my gosh.
When
I tell you the riff she was hitting, all of that shit, like, started from Christian music, and then like her swag was just so rock and roll soul. How did we miss that?
How was that left out from our teachings?
Yes, because we had that argument of Chuck Berry being the first. We have that argument of, Elvis is the king of rock and roll. But here we go, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Actually, no, she invented the shit. Give her goddamn credit.
Give her credit.
pay her descendants royalties.
Just while we're on the topic of black women fucking shit up and being the shit.
Yes.
Can we talk about Hazel Scott playing 2 grand pianos at the same time?
Oh, yes.
Listen, I'm gonna post the link to this video on our literally right now. We recording this episode a week before it's even gonna come out. But I'm gonna post this shit right now.
Because when I tell you that takes skills.
It
takes skills to play one fucking piano. But two simultaneously.
Listen, and first of all, you gotta be ambidextrous as fuck, bitch. Second, you have to know what you're playing on the left hand, what you're playing on the right hand at the same time in 2 different locations. Listen, black people are lit. I'm sorry, like black people are.
Give us our fucking credit.
Give us our credit when it's due, which is always
24/7, ho. But laughing, but very goddamn serious.
Laughing, but 1,000 million trillion% serious. So, still while we're on the topic of music, let's talk about how African music influenced all music. Like ragtime was like really kind of the basis for instrumental music in America, but ragtime even comes from like a derivative of African music.
Yeah.
The drums and the rhythms and all of that we brought with us from Africa on the backs of slaves and ships by the thousands, carried over into music that we used to celebrate ourselves and our spirituality and our culture. But yeah, so you can hear the influence of African drums, African rhythms, African chants in even music today in 2019.
Yeah.
What were you talking about before we started? Hold on, I remember. Fela Kuti.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk more on that, please. On her, please.
Oh, it's a guy.
On him, please.
Yes.
Sorry.
We're talking about music and mainstream. There has been probably over the last 2 to 3 years, a lot of Afrobeat influence in hip hop. And Afrobeat, if you those that don't know, is a West African style of music, and I think specifically, and you guys can correct me constructively if I'm wrong, more of a Nigerian influence, but you can hear a lot in Drake songs like One Dance. Also, a lot of Afrobeat artists are becoming a little bit popular over here, like Wizkid, Afrobeat. Those are the main ones I know. But they're all a tribute to Fela Kuti, who was very popular in the 1960s. He is thought to be the father of Afrobeat. Yes, he was an artist and an activist. If you don't know him, we'll post some links so you guys can educate yourself. But
I just want to play kind of, and I just typed Afrobeat into YouTube. I really don't know what's gonna happen here. Actually, what I'm gonna do is play the instrumental of One Dance, because that song is a definite a great example of what Afrobeat is, and you can hear the influence.
$4,000.
That's not it. That's an ad. Sorry, I'm cheap. I don't want to pay to not have ads on my YouTube.
Like Trappy at the club, Trappy at the dentist, Trappy on ice.
And just a quick disclaimer: we don't own the rights to this music, so
this is true. That is Afrobeat. And I knew that, but hearing it without the words, and hearing it just kind of on its own, it's everywhere. It's in almost every song nowadays.
I'm trying to think of another song that is, but nothing's coming to my head at this moment. But yeah, a lot of Drake songs recently, like his last album, he had a lot of Afrobeat influence, and I think a lot of people mistake Afrobeat for reggae or reggaeton influence, but it's definitely what it is.
Yeah. So moving on from music, I think it's kind of time to step into the talking about. Oh wait, did you have something?
Before we move on from music,
okay.
Talking about black influences and black musicians, there is a band that was very popular, and I believe not even popular. They weren't popular until they passed away, which is unfortunate. That is the norm for a lot of artists to not be appreciated until after they're dead. But it was a rock group that originated in Detroit, rock band called Death. D is in David, E is in Edward, A is in Alpha, T is in Tom, H is in Henry. Death. They were a rock band formed in Detroit, Michigan in 1971 by brothers Bobby, David, and Dennis Hackney. They started off as a funk band but switched to rock after seeing a concert by The Who. Their music is sickening. You need to check it out.
Check it the fuck out.
Oh, well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, now that we have had that beautiful tidbit of information, now we can kind of swerve into the big, heavy topic of this episode, which is cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation. Now, for the kids out there, I want to go ahead and give a little definition of cultural appropriation, because I feel like everybody, and by everybody I mean white people, have a very specific definition of what cultural appropriation is. And they are getting it very confused with cultural appreciation.
Very much so.
Cultural appropriation is taking and misusing any form of cultural identity,
black culture,
any stylistic, aesthetic concept,
Native American culture,
any culturally significant cuisine style,
Asian culture,
from said people, and using it as if it were your own or an original idea. Now,
Latino culture.
Yes. Now, cultural appreciation is going to Mission Taco and having tacos. Cultural appreciation is going to see LaKayla 47 when she comes to town.
Yes.
Cultural appreciation is enjoying and making ramen at home, but understanding that it is not an original concept and you are not the first person to make ramen. Cultural appreciation, going for that and some more snaps, is looking at your black friend and saying, wow, your hair is beautiful, when she has box braids.
And not touching the shit.
Don't touch my goddamn hair.
Oh my God.
So yes, some known cultural appropriators, including but are not limited to
Kim Kardashian,
Miley Cyrus,
Katy Perry.
Oh, that was my next one. Oh, Katy Perry. Rachel Dolezal.
I too.
I too carry hot sauce in my bag. And I just want to say, no little white girl at the Coachella Festival who spent $300 to spend one day in California. You are not allowed to wear that Native American headdress. You are not allowed to wear war paint of a native tribe. Anything, really, of a native tribe. Because what are you? A little white girl. What are you not?
a wheat thin. I'm sorry, that was too much flavor. A saltine cracker.
She said a wheat thin. Oh, I'm hollering.
Correction, a saltine cracker. That was too much flavor.
Saltine. Because you're salty about not being able to wear that headdress. Like, sis, put it back.
Put it back. Put it back. Wearing those gold hoop earrings.
Don't even think about it.
Cornrolling your hair.
Don't.
And this is my problem. I'm going to go on a rant. See, I was trying not to.
No, please do. This is the time.
We just gonna call this segment, You Got Shalisha Fucked Up. Let me count the ways, bitch. You got Shisha fucked up. For one, cornrows. You see cornrows or box braids in a professional setting, you are calling the black woman what? Ghetto. Unprofessional. You don't know how many times in a professional setting, me wearing my natural hair in a twist out or in a 1970s style afro, being asked if the natural state of my hair is professional for work.
How about little girls going to school and being told they have to cut their hair
or take their braids out
because it's not it's unkempt? Nah, sis, this is my hair.
Oh yeah. Or the legalization of discriminating against people who wear locks.
I bet you a white person walked into a place with dreads, because those aren't locks, those are dreads.
Those are dreadful.
They are dreadful.
Dreadful?
Yes.
Yes.
Would not be discriminated against because of that white skin.
And our problem with this, and this is the reason why it's cultural appropriation, is because when it's adorned by the originators, the black women, because we are originators, okay? When it's adorned by the originators of black women, it's considered ghetto, it's considered unprofessional, it's considered unkept. But as soon as a Miley Cyrus or a Kim Kardashian or what's the other?
Katy Perry. Or
the other Jenner Kardashian.
Kylie.
Plastic ass face. Ass wants to throw some cornrows in her head. It's considered fashion. It's considered high fashion. It's considered the new fad. Bitch, we've been doing this.
I'm so sick of seeing articles that say, why did Kylie Jenner invent insert thing that's already been around for God knows how long?
I mean, black and Latino women are looking like, bitch, we been wearing hoops.
Been wearing hoops.
Bitch, we been wearing hoops. We been fucking rocking cornrows.
Cornrows go so far. Cornrows go back past America. Cornrows go back to the motherland.
Cornrows needs to be in the history books. First of all, during slavery, women hair were cornrowed basically as maps how to get the fuck away, how to run away to the north. Messages, encryptions were braided.
That's some real life black girl magic. Like,
please stop trying to steal our luster and not giving us credit for it.
Yeah.
If you want to appreciate it and you want to rock it, give credit where credit is due. In rants.
Rant continuing on Derek.
We're just gonna pass the rant time.
Just pass that on home here. I can't quite possibly get my fingers around my hands around the idea that dreads are something that white people should do with their hair.
Oh my God.
There's cultural significance. Just like cornrows, there is cultural significance to having locks. Don't listen. Not only is it completely stealing and appropriating somebody's culture, they just don't even look good. Like, it's not even a look. No. Have I said no enough? Because fucking no. And back to the okay. Of course, it really bothers me when I see white girls with box braids or cornrows or white people with dreads. But what astounds me is how there are still Halloween costumes that are things like Native American girl. I'm sorry, what? You finna seriously sit here and sell me a fucking ass headdress? Do you know the cultural... That's the problem. That's where it becomes appreciation. When there's something of cultural significance, you can't possibly take that and adapt it as a costume. You can't wear me as a costume.
But you know what? I think that is America's... I need to stop saying America, because America is Canada, United States, and Mexico. Okay, that's North America. The United States. The problem with the United States is we're built on cultural appropriation, cultural genocide. Did you know that Mount Rushmore was a spiritual...
Yep. And then they went and carved 4 white dudes on it.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, so we really just...
Oh, I learned that this year, by the way.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I learned it last year. So...
Yeah. Like, the disgust.
I... Just as a blanket statement, this land was stolen.
By the First Nation people.
From the First Nation people.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. From
the First Nation people.
I mean? Yeah.
This land was stolen, and everything about this land was covered up and made different.
Oh, and everything about the First Nation people were, it was Christianized.
They did the same thing to First Nation people that they did to black people when they brought them here. They tried. They made them unlearn all of their spiritualism, all of their beliefs, their why am I not having words right now? I'm so angry.
Yeah.
Like,
because after our Shake the Straits episode, we were talking about Two Spirits. I actually did a little bit of research. It's, you know, like with Ancestry.com and, you know, just black people period. We're like, oh, we got Cherokee in us and blah, blah, blah. But actually, my family has Choctaw Indian in us.
Blackfoot.
Yeah.
So I actually think we might have some Cherokee as well. Like, legitimately.
I think on one side we do, but it's my great grandfather, he was half Choctaw Indian.
My great grandma was Blackfoot.
Oh.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah.
As Tony Baker say, I never knew. The funniest shit. He's the funniest thing to me right now. But what was I talking about? Oh, Two Spirits. So I was digging a little bit deeper into it and realizing that a lot of Native cultures didn't have gender norms that we have.
The gender norms were placed upon Native people when colonizers landed on Plymouth Rock. Yeah,
they completely toe it the fuck up. Like, Two-Spirit people were basically looked at as demigods.
Yeah.
As spiritual leaders, as someone who could see both sides of the world from a masculine and a feminine standpoint.
And spiritually, if they could see both the spirit world and the real world.
Yeah. And that totally was wiped away from the history books and probably their culture. Like, and honestly, as an American, the lack of information that I know about Native people is disgusting.
I really want to go to Oklahoma and visit the reservation there.
Yeah, it's like they took them away at various little reservations of the United States and to never be heard of or heard from again. Yep. And they actually, I think they mandated it in our laws that they're not able to run for public office.
I think that recently, that has changed because I believe there is a Native woman who is in office. I believe she's Native and lesbian. If I'm remembering correctly, I could be 100% wrong, and please let me know if I am. But I believe she is Native and lesbian.
We'll have to fact check that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just to kind of step on the side of that, I really have always connected with Native culture, and even as a kid, when I just thought it was interesting, as an adult, a lot of the beliefs, like, you know how like you hear something for the first time and it's like you were meant to hear it, like it's something that like affects you. Every time I look up something in Native culture, I get really emotional and I'm like, fuck, like this is real life. Like, yeah. So, and that's the difference between appreciation and appropriation. Yep.
The more you know. I never knew. Looking ass.
Where were we?
Everywhere.
Legitimately, this podcast has been all over the place, but I think in a very good way.
Yeah.
You can't treat cultural appropriation as a replacement for diversity.
Oh, you can't.
You can't.
Stop making fucking excuses for why you're a bigot.
I read a post today that said something. It was something like, I was discussing, and I think one of our friends shared this, one of our mutual friends. It's like I was discussing with a not-for-profit organization about their like leadership panel of their diversity panel. And they were like, well, you don't have any black people on your panel. This is a black person who's posting this. They were like, oh, but we have other POC on our panel, and we also have LGBT queer people. And he was like, cool, great. You don't have any black people on your panel. But we have some Asian people and one person who is of Latin heritage. And he goes, okay, so you have grouped all of the Asian people that are on your panel into one category, Asian, instead of specifically naming whatever they might be.
Right. And
one white passing Latin person that you are using as your brown person on your panel. You're racist. like and the person like starts getting emotional and is like, I'm not racist, but like genuinely. And
how can you consider that a committee of diversity when there's lack of diversity? And diversity isn't, and I just want to clear the air, give more clarity. Cultural appropriation and diversity does not always just deal with black and white.
No. It's all people of color.
Yes.
It's having every single person that can be represented.
So if you're gonna have a panel of diversity, make sure it's goddamn diverse.
Yeah, there was a diversity panel here in St. Louis, a theater diversity panel that I looked at who was on the panel and I was like, sips tea. There were, I think, 2 POC on a 5-person panel, and 1 woman, I think.
My eye is twitching.
I just want to know where all the diversity was.
Yeah.
But yes, you can't treat appropriation as a substitute for diversity. And we also treat cultural exchange just like any other creative transaction. If you want to reference someone's culture, ask permission first and foremost.
And if it feels wrong, it might be wrong.
Yep.
It might be wrong.
It's probably wrong. You should just not do it.
No.
And I understand that artists have a lot of creativity and they have a lot of say-so in what they do when they've established themselves. But a lot of times, people be letting their creative teams get them in trouble.
Oh, yes. We don't see your creative team, boo-boo. We see you.
We see
you, Katy Perry.
You.
Blackface shoes. You did. Katy Perry.
And Can we talk about that whole music video that was Egyptian?
Oh.
The Dark Horse music video?
Yeah.
Girl.
Was that the same one she was wearing them cornrows in that grill?
No, that was This Is How We Do It. And that song is trash anyway. But
so you did it more than once?
Oh yes, it's always.
Or hellas.
What about when she performed on stage with the Migos for her song Bon Appetit? What even was that, Katie?
It's like you can be accepting of cultures without encroaching on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's my issue with a lot of white people. I was gonna say non-POCs, white people.
White people.
You feel like for you to, it's like overreaching and overcompensating. Oh, I'm not a racist. Let me show you how down I am. You can be down or be appreciative of other cultures without appropriating, without encroaching on them. You can be cool. You can love black men and not wear a grill and cornrows, and you can be your regular ass self.
You can be regular degla.
Yeah.
But you can't say regular degla.
Ass.
It's like
saltine crack ass.
It's like people that want to say the N-word.
Oh, nigga.
I don't like it.
I love it.
I don't like it. It makes me very not okay.
I say nigga like every other word.
Most of my black friends do.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's our word technically. And I say it myself sometimes. But for me, it's more hurtful for a black person to call me the N-word than for a white person to call me that. Because like it wasn't created. It's not like a word that was created to be encouraging to us and then taken away and then we try to take it back. Like it was legitimate. You are a nigger. You ain't shit. You ain't gonna ever be shit. And so that bothers me sometimes.
See, I'm on the side of the argument that we reclaim the word and repurpose the word. See, I'm on that fits, and I respect your stance.
I respect yours as well, which is why I'm never like, whenever you say it around me, I'm not like, Shalisha.
Yeah, but let a white person drop the N-word around me. I think that happened when we were at our one of our jobs we had together, with the only job we had together. I don't think you were there. A white person dropped the N-word and I motherfucking exploded.
Was it a customer or was it?
No.
Ooh.
It's not funny.
It's not.
It's not cute. I will bust your ass.
Yeah. You will get raped.
And call the police and tell them I did it.
But where I was going with that was...
Sorry, Shisha ran.
Cultural appropriation is like people wanting to say the N-word when it's like, well, why don't you get to say it? Why don't I get to say it? Like, you can say it, why can't I say it? Like, they want to be in on the fun. Watch from the outside, bitch.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's like you want to experience it, but you don't want the hardships that go with it.
Yep.
You don't want the Rodney King ass beating. You don't want the getting shot multiple times, execution style Mike Brown. You don't want the whole I can't breathe Eric Gardner or the being killed in police custody Sandra. Like, you don't want any of that.
Yeah, you don't want the struggle. You
want the glitz and glamour of the culture. You don't want the experience.
You don't want the actual.
You don't want the I'm being followed in the goddamn store because I'm black.
I hate that shit. Like,
Don't come up to me asking me, sorry to cut you off.
No,
don't come up to me in a store where you done passed 5 white people and go, hey, do you need any help? I used to work in retail, bitch. I know that means, hey, you're black, I'm watching your ass.
Hey, you're black, I think you're stealing something.
Exactly.
That shit fucking wrecks me every time.
Kills me.
Can we just... We haven't mentioned the black box in a while. Can we said we were gonna throw rock and roll music and country music back into the black box.
Back into the black box.
Can we take stealing out of the black box for other people who think we steal?
Oh,
because, listen.
I was gonna say no, they need to be taken out of the white box, but I get what you're saying now.
Listen. I get it. Not actually. But sometimes I walk into a store with my backpack. I'm black. I'm covered in tattoos. Whatever. I also wear glasses and probably wearing some kind of nerdy shirt at any given time.
But they don't see that.
But all they see is my skin color.
They see the nigga with the tattoos.
Exactly. And so what has been conditioned in me is, hey, do you guys want me to leave my backpack up at the front of the store? If you tell me no, don't come ask me if I need anything. Mm-hmm. I offered you my backpack. Don't come asking me for shit. Don't come asking me if I need. Today, I walked through Target, all the way around the store, walked past 4 different people that worked there. None of them said anything to me. Mm-hmm. Had my backpack on. Went to try on a pair of shorts with my backpack. Mm-hmm. And was like hesitated for a minute going into the dressing room with my backpack. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, are y'all really gonna?
And that's the thing, we have to unlearn. We have to unlearn what we were conditioned and taught. Mm-hmm. We have to unlearn that because it's like a two-edged sword. The hesitation and the conditioning is what keeps a lot of black people alive. Mm-hmm. But I think it also cracks that window or cracks the door for white people to bust in and be like, to put that stereotype on you. Mm-hmm. To be like, oh, well, you know, you're acting suspicious, so are you stealing?
No, like, you fucking following me around.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
I'm bald, but get out of my hair. So now I want to pose just a little question to you all. It's our question of the week this week.
Question of the week.
What do you consider cultural appropriation, and how do you know if you are appreciating a culture or appropriating it? Mm-hmm. Hit us up on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
Yes.
At Urban Proper Podcast on both Instagram and Facebook, and at urban_proper on the
on Twitter.
Twitters. Hold on. Things are happening. Things are happening. Okay. Some sound was about to go off on the recording, and I was like, no. Yeah, hit us up. Let us know what you think about cultural appropriation and how it can be perceived, not conceived.
Yeah. And all you, well, I want to do it too, saltines, stay your ass off the post.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear from you.
I don't want to hear from you at all.
I don't want to
Actually, I do want to hear from you. How do you, saltines, you can only answer the second part of the question. Mm-hmm. How do you know if you are appreciating or appropriating a culture?
You know it's almost 4th of July.
Is that drums or is that fireworks?
It's fireworks.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought somebody was drumming shittily. So while we're on the topic of cultural appropriation, influence of black art, let's talk about and Shisha, you brought this up, the second Black Renaissance that's happening right now.
Yes, I feel like there is a second Black Renaissance that is happening and no one's fucking talking about it.
Everybody is like, wow, look at all of this black art.
Yes.
I wonder what's happening.
People talk bad about our generation having all this electronics and having the smartphones and always being in the internet, not even realizing the fact that our phones, we're holding a wealth of information on our person at all times. And I think there is a kind of enlightenment period that's happening, especially with our generation, the millennials. I guess we are the beginning of the millennials. Anybody from, what was that, 80? Is it 87?
I was actually looking this up the other day with my boyfriend and his roommate, and we are not millennials. We are technically Generation Y. Generation X.
Well, there's so many, it overlaps so many, yeah.
So I would consider myself a millennial. I would consider us millennials. Technically, for all intents and purposes, I think millennial starts at 94. Anybody born from 94 on is a millennial. I know, it's weird. I don't like it.
I think it overlaps. We'll talk about that. We'll argue that on our social media.
Oh no, I am a fucking millennial. Fuck off with that shit.
I was born in 1990, so
93.
So, but I feel like a lot of that is frowned upon, and That's where I was at. There's a lightning period is happening. We're educating ourselves with the world around us. I think a lot of people are stepping out of the proverbial black box. And there's a lot of innovative art happening. There's a lot of innovative music that's happening, even in main culture. And I think in mainstream culture, I think a lot of artists are taking the reins of their artistry. They're no longer leaving in the hands of the A&R people or the label. A lot of them are remaining independent or becoming independent. Just like, Beyonce, for example, she don't need to do promotions for her goddamn album.
She just drop it. She's like, here you go, here's an album.
Yeah, like Chance the Rapper.
Who was the first person to win a Grammy for streaming, I believe it was. Or the first independent artist to win a Grammy. I think it was one of the two. He was the first something to win a Grammy.
Yeah. So I think and we probably need to pay attention to this a little bit more. Tumblr culture, black culture, Tumblr, black Twitter.
Black Twitter is the shit.
You can get lost in Black Twitter. Black Twitter will eat you up and spit you out.
I live for
Black Twitter can be as endearing as a grandmother's hug. It can be as frigid as the Antarctic night. It can be all things. And Black Tumblr is the same, but being on those platforms and being black and coming across things that we're seeing, and I'm just like, why is no one talking about this?
And I think a lot of, I agree with everything that you said, but I think it's also black people just aren't taking no for an answer anymore.
Exactly.
With Jordan Peele being a comedian, I feel like a lot of the times black people are pigeonholed into that comedian category.
Yeah.
Because we funny as fuck.
We are.
However, while I did not enjoy Us the way most people did, not Us,
Get Out?
Get Out.
I will fight you.
Listen, I did not like that movie.
I will fight you.
But Us was a fantastic horror film. Us was the Black Renaissance. And I think I'm not a fan of Jordan Peele as a comedian.
I think he's hilarious.
I wasn't sold on Jordan Peele as a movie maker with Get Out, but Us, I was like, you came to do this.
You ain't come to play. You came to snatch edges and scalps.
Listen, you came to make me a little bit scared to walk in front of the mirror. Because I think... Look, what? Yeah, I think that, like you said, with music, with independent artists, with people kind of taking the ownership of their own art. Yeah, and then there's a lot of black entrepreneurs popping up. So many from everywhere, and I love it. I love it, and it's just like we're retaking. It's nothing has been given to us, and it's like we're tired of trying to assimilate into white culture, and we are back on our shit and being like, look, you not opening the door for me, I'm gonna create a motherfucking house for myself. I'm gonna build a door in the house around the door. Exactly. And the house is gonna have several doors in it. And I'm loving it. It definitely, it's encouraging, especially I think for us as creators. Yeah. To be like, damn. Yeah. Like we can get, like you were saying about technology in our hands, we can literally plug this microphone into my computer and upload this. Yeah. Like it was never done before. We're recently talking about this in a journalism class I'm actually taking right now. How we were watching a movie called Page One about the New York Times, and they were talking about how Twitter and how millennials, and it's always this big debate about the millennials, how the millennials are destroying everything, but basically how the convergence of media has shifted access. Not only access to information, but also access of giving information. Because to do this at the capacity that we're doing,
even at the level that we're doing, we would have had to have a radio station back us.
Oh yeah, we would have had to have all kinds of
before Facebook, before YouTube. How was people putting out their content? They had to go through the proper channels. Now everyone has access to present their art. You
don't need a label. You don't need a manager. You don't need a tour manager. You don't need a radio station. In a way, I like that. That's the way that the world is going. I do still love old media. I
don't think anything is. I mean, there has been some flagship newspapers that have died, and radio has become more syndicated. Television has become more syndicated, but all in all, nothing has. The original forms haven't died; they're just shifted.
They're growing with
the times.
I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was watching. Who was I watching? Probably Jackie Aina or something. I was watching probably fucking makeup tutorials. Like I'm always watching at 3:00 in the morning because that's who I am. But I was watching a YouTube video and it was Jackie Aina because she started doing an Audible ad. And I was like, if you've been on YouTube ever, you've heard a YouTuber talk about Audible. And I'm like, Audible real life built an entire empire on YouTube ads. Yeah. Paying YouTubers to talk about Audible. I would never download Audible because I think audiobooks are the devil. Yeah. But bitch, I know what Audible is. Yeah. And but that's like that growth, that merging of two things. Yes.
And working at my current job, I see a lot of kids come in very early on to try to find their career path. And I encourage Black parents, if you see that your child has a gift or has this interest in the arts or anything, help them work on it. Help them perfect their craft. Because nowadays I feel like, we were talking about the black box. People only see basketball, football as a way out. And a lot of our artistry is dying. Yeah.
It's always do something that's gonna make you some money.
Yeah. And it's I mean, as American culture, it as a whole, our focus on the arts is like slim to none. And if you see that your child is, help them get out there, help them craft, become better in their art or wherever their interest is.
And I feel like a lot of this kind of goes back to a previous episode where we talked about accessibility. I think it was our second episode. Art supplies are expensive. Yeah. Art programs,
anything that's good is expensive.
True. Very
unfortunately.
And healthy food is more expensive than the Starburst that I'm eating right now. I could be eating celery and something shit like that.
Yeah. Celery and hummus.
Celery and hummus. But I think a lot of what discourages Black parents is how expensive shit is. I did a program in high school called the HAT program. I didn't have to pay for it because I got a grant thanks to an amazing art teacher who is still I would consider a very good friend of mine and a mentor to me. She hooked it up to where I didn't have to pay for it, but it was gonna be not affordable. And my mom was the type of person who would have made a way out of no way and been like,
because this is what Black women do.
That's what Black women do. Black women are powerful. But I know a lot of my friends' parents would have just been like, I can't afford that. No, you're not going. Yeah.
And I think with the times now, there's so many outlets that are free. YouTube tutorials. You can
learn everything from YouTube.
YouTube tutorials. Workshops. You just have to really sit down and do your research. You on Facebook all day anyhow. what was that college commercial? The dude that make you feel bad about yourself. Sitting at home.
You sitting at home on the couch. Everest. It was Everest College.
Yeah.
You sitting at home on the couch anyway.
You sitting at home on the couch on Facebook all day anyhow. Look up something. Look up some grants. Look up some free programs. Look up some YouTube videos.
Excuse me.
Just like Google right now kind of has shifted the way they are hiring. A lot of their positions, they're no longer requiring bachelor's degrees. They're actually doing on-the-job training.
Listen, let me find out I can get a job at Google.
Bitch, let's apply. But yes, they have an academy, as well as, I think I was talking about Launch Code. Launch Code, I'm learning how to do coding in Launch Code, which is free. You just have to find... You have to dig deep.
I'm gonna apply for a job at Google when we get done with this. Think it's a game.
You just have to do your research.
And that's another thing that, like, I really wanna let's open the black box and let's throw research in there, and let's throw development in there, and let's throw what is the word? Why am I not finding my words today? Encouragement and building your children up. Let's put that all in the black box, and let's take fear out of there. Yeah. Because I came home at 19 and I told my mom I wanted to be an actor, and she looked me dead in the face and said, "Well, that's what I thought you should have been doing this whole time." Yeah. My mom has never been afraid to let me fail if I was going to fail. But my mom, and I think that lack of fear for me made me less afraid. And so now I don't take no for an answer. If, like you said, if you don't open the door, then I'm going to build my own door. And I think we need to reinstate and reinstill that in our children, that they can be anything they want to be, and that if you try hard enough, if you're inherently good at it, you're definitely going to be good at it. And if you're not inherently good at it, if you work at it and it's something you really want to do.
And I think that's why a lot of black kids stop, because they don't have that support.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
They don't have that support.
Definitely.
And encourage your kids, because the world is already fucking tough on POCs and women. We don't need that shit. Like, there's a difference between teaching your kids about the hardships of the world and then being a hardship on your child.
Yes. There's a huge difference.
But back to cultural appropriation before I forget. I just want to make this statement.
Go ahead.
Numbers are Arabic. You love hummus, but you hate Middle Eastern people, which is bigger dumbass. I promise I'm done for this episode. I promise I'm done.
But that's the real tea, though. You don't sit here and eat some hummus and crackers with your saltine ass.
Or you going to Taco Tuesday, but you claim you ranting about building a wall.
You are not allowed to celebrate Taco Tuesday, and you are not allowed to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, which is not even Mexican Heritage Day. So fuck right the fuck off. Yeah. You already done fucked up.
So eat your potatoes and shut the fuck up.
Listen, Idaho. Idaho gold in this bitch.
I said I was done with the bread. Anyway.
I ain't saying I was.
Yes. Well, true.
Anyway.
But back to our blackness, because that is the epicenter of us as our existence. Black people from different parts of the black diaspora. But the shenanigan question of the week.
Probably my favorite one thus far.
Black people, I got a question. I really need answers. Cause y'all been playing us on these questions we had for y'all. Like, we ain't got some good ass thought provoking questions, but whatever. Black people, who the fuck is Boo Boo the Fool?
Who is it? Who
is Boo Boo the Fool?
Who are they? And why is your mama not them?
Who the hell is Boo Boo the Fool? Somebody, please bring Boo Boo the Fool to the front of the line, please.
With the real Boo Boo the Fool,
please stand up. Please. Wave your hand.
Eminem is black culture. Can I just say, is that okay? Is that acceptable?
He is black culture appreciated.
He is. I'm also in love with him. Ugh.
You that one meme, that Pocahontas meme.
I shared that.
You that Pocahontas meme.
Might been a dangerous.
Yes.
Me.
That goddamn ball. I'm gonna post that on Instagram and tag you with it just so everybody know what I'm talking about.
I shared it on Facebook with the caption, "It me."
Oh. I'm telling you, every time I get on Facebook, it's Darius, and I'll be like, you know how you just scroll aimlessly a little bit, you be seeing posts, and I'll be like, ha, that's Darius. But I didn't think you posted it, so. But you are that Pocahontas meme.
100% that Pocahontas.
Like, fight the power. Come here, white boy.
White boy. You're so cute.
With your saltine ass.
Tastes like nothing because you don't season.
Oh, another question. How the fuck y'all invade India and other spice-having countries, but y'all bitch asses still don't use seasoning?
How about they went looking for spices? They was looking.
You act like you never found the shit.
They did it. They was too busy. Like, we found these people. We found this land with all these people.
They was like, my food's pretty damn bland. Let's go find some spices.
There have to be other things in other places on this flat earth that can give us.
Y'all found the spices, but y'all found people to appropriate.
Would we rather have tasty food or genocide? I'll decide on the ship. Fuck. Damn.
But
you ever make a joke so fucked up that you really like, damn.
I'll be really like questioning like my sanity. I'd be like, bitch, is you crazy or nah?
I'm crazy.
So let's go jump into Once a Hellas before we forget.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. I got one.
Okay.
Since we're talking about art and all of that deliciousness.
Spices.
Would you ever pose in this? No. Would you ever pose nude for a painting? Once or Hellas?
Hellas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to. We have a friend that's a photographer. I actually want to do a nude shoot. I just haven't figured out where I want to do it.
I kind of want to do a boudoir type thing with my boyfriend. I feel like that would be real hot.
Okay, Pocahontas.
Honestly, legitimately, we gonna recreate that meme.
Oh my god!
I swear I saw that and I was like, "Fuck, this is me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know I would do it Hellas. I think that there needs to be more art appreciating big women, especially big dark-skinned women. Like,
yes,
there's a shift happening.
We've been friends officially on Facebook for 7 years.
Yes, we had our friend anniversary today.
Super cute. But one thing that I've always appreciated about Shisha is just the confidence.
Thank you.
Just the bad bitchery of it all.
The bad bitchery of it all.
I fucks with it. So tough. And I just love you, Shisha.
Thank you, Darius. I appreciate you for appreciating me. No.
I'm writing the bad bitchery of it all.
I'll be doing the same damn thing.
Because I want that on the shirt.
Yes.
Okay. Your turn.
You just threw me off. Okay. We're talking about black arts. Once are hellas. That was a good one. You can't just start off with that and expect me to follow up.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's usually how I am. That's why my exes are still single.
I tried to formulate like a build onto that, and I was just like, point proven. Point proven.
There you go.
Yes, case in point. Yes. Damn. What is wrong with us? We can't think. We can't talk today.
I don't even know.
Oh, would you pose with a predatory animal for a shoot once or hellish?
We talking
about some rip your goddamn nutsack off. Wrong sneeze, wrong move, and you getting bit. Yeah.
Oh, we doing hellas. I would be a little afraid, but I've always liked animals more than people, so
yeah.
I feel like it'd be an interesting challenge.
See, my black and my Afro Latino root senses would be tingling a little bit too much. But I couldn't do it with a snake. Snake I would do it once, but
I like snakes.
Oh no, I just
I don't know why, because I'm low-key afraid of snakes.
I don't trust them hoes. I don't trust them.
As long as it's not a big one.
Nah, I don't like you.
Shut
the fuck up. But I'd probably do it hellas though. I'd probably have to overcome my fear and do it hellas.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
While we're on the topic of black art and culture, would you ever record an album? Be it comedy or music? Is that something that you think you would ever do?
On purpose? No.
How do you record an album on accident, she?
I'm just saying it happens. Like, I mean, is that one of my ambitions? Not currently. But maybe once, maybe I'll just go on a whole rant. The thing is the crazy shit Shisha says. Should be maybe it'll be an EP, a 4-track EP, just me saying the crazy shit.
You don't need a whole.
I'm damn.
You need an album just for the shit you said in these 6 episodes. Come on now.
But as much as I rap in the mirror like Issa on Insecure, I don't think I could spit a hot 16 over 16 tracks.
Okay.
I mean, I have a lot of good punchlines, but like bars, maybe once or hellas in a month. I don't know.
That's hilarious. Your turn.
Oh shit! I just had one. I lost it. Would you, since you are an artist and a musician, would you ever consider recording a rock track or a country track? Once or hellas?
Hellas.
Okay.
To both. I actually really love both rock and country music. And draw a lot of specific influence from rock music at certain points. I have dabbled with creating a country track and a country song and haven't really gotten... I feel like country music isn't something you can make electronically. I feel like country music is something that it has to be live and it has to be instruments and people and bodies in a room. And I love that about country music. But rock, fuck yeah. Like, I plan to have at least one grunge song on my coming album.
I miss 90s grunge.
I do too so much.
I love rock and roll. The thing I love about rock and roll so much is the guitar riffs. And you know what? There used to be a really heavy thing that was in R&B, the guitar breakdown. Can we bring that back?
If you notice, a lot of the music on my album is guitar driven.
Yeah.
I love me a good bitch. Oof.
Makes my girlfriend tremble.
Oh, Arnold. Oh, Guitar Arnold.
Oh, Janet.
For Once a Hella's cultural appropriation, would you collaborate with a person who is proposing cultural appropriation as the basis of an idea? But wait, if so, would you educate them?
For those who do not know me, Shalish is all about enlightenment and all about putting the motherfucker in their place. So would I collaborate with a potentially culture appropriating project or person? No. Not without educating them, not without putting them in their place. I think that is my duty as as my duty as a black woman, as a person of color, as a marginalized person on both ends, on all ends. Damn, I'm just hitting a marginalized person like triathlon.
To the fucking marginalization store.
Right.
I'll have one of everything.
I'll have one of everything, please.
I mean, the same, so.
But yeah. But no, I would definitely we would have to rearrange some things for me to collaborate. I can't be out here looking real Uncle Ruckus ass nigga-ish. So yeah, I can't. Yeah. It's for the money and the fame. If it conflicts with my morals, I can't.
Glad to know that my good sis would not sell out.
And there's a difference between challenging yourself as an artist and then falling into that just for the sake of money. For the love of money. Yeah. Okay, now that we have gone through Once a Hella's, we've discussed all of our topics for this episode, we'd like to go ahead and give a little black-owned business shout out. And while we are on the topic of black creators, black creatives, black artists, the Black Renaissance that's happening right now, I like to shout out a local theater production or organization known as TLT Productions. Okay. Don't mind me. TLT Productions, they, like I said, are a local group that does theater and art, and they do a lot of musicals and a lot of black shit. It was founded, I believe, by Trayvon Griffin. I think that's his name. Y'all, listen, I'm bad at this. Oh my God, check that.
Let me fact check real quick. Hold on. Give me a second. Where's the website?
Pull up the Googles.
Where is the website?
Why he's doing that?
Do what you gotta do, sis.
I had to move the mic over to my side. You know, the left side. No, it's fine. But this Black Renaissance that's happening. You know, the people that follow me on Twitter, if you don't follow me on Twitter, again, our Twitter account is @urban_proper. Let's talk about this Black Renaissance that's happening. Black artists, black authors, black entrepreneurs. We want to hear from you. Follow us on Instagram as well. Instagram is @urbanproperpodcast, and on Facebook, We're Urban Proper Podcast. So we definitely want to hear about you, and even if you're not a creative, we want to hear about your thoughts on this resurgence of the Black Renaissance, and how you feel about it. Let's talk about that too.
Jeez. So I'm gonna start over with my Black-owned business shout out. Now that I have correct information, TLT Productions, as I said, is a local St. Louis-based performing arts group. They do plays, they do musicals. I believe they do a concert series potentially. Founded by Trayvon Griffith, who is a local Black artist. They do great work, and we just want to shout them out and make sure they know that they are the shit. And with that being said, is there anything you need, anything more you want to add, any more you want to rant about, Sheesh?
No, but Black artists, Black business owners, Black authors, we want to hear from you.
We want you.
We want to hear from you.
We might want you to come and sit in with us.
Yeah, let's collab. Let's appreciate each other's art.
Yes, let's culturally appreciate one another.
Yes.
I just want to shout myself out because the Real Thug is playing Tower Grove Pride this weekend.
Oh yes.
If y'all didn't know,
St. Louis Fringe.
Official information for St. Louis Fringe has finally arrived. I'll do all that on the next episode.
Down for the bus down.
Yes, Tatiana.
Yes.
But yeah, so basically, I'm the shit, and I'm gonna be playing a local Pride event here in St. Louis, and I'm super excited. Well, this will be out after Pride.
It'll be what?
This will be out after Pride. This come out the Monday after Pride.
Oh, it will.
So hopefully you were there.
Yeah, if you didn't, you missed out.
I had fun.
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm the shit.
Yeah.
But without that being said, I think we out of here for this episode.
Yes.
And we will see you all next week.
Don't forget to follow us, like us, comment.
All the things. Comment. We urge you to talk to us on all social media platforms. Because we like to hear from y'all.
Yes. And also, we had some questions about why we're not on iTunes. We're fighting with iTunes. So
iTunes is a bitch and a hoe.
Yeah.
I think they're getting rid of their of iTunes. Like iTunes is actually being dissolved. And so they might be going through an issue with that.
Yeah. So we're working on it. Once we figure that out or what's going on with iTunes platform, we will be there. So for right now, follow us on Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, and YouTube.
Yep.
We're everywhere. We want you to hear us. We want you to have access to us.
To us, we want you to be able to.
Yes. Until next time.
Bye.